what really are hormones, and how do they play such an integral role in our overall health and well-being and how we feel and look, for instance?
Yes, well, our hormones, like you said, they are messengers, and I think that people get a little bit freaked out because there's been this conversation about cancer. We find out that if you have cancer, the first thing they do is say, "Oh, is it estrogen receptive? Is it linked to that? If you take hormones, are you going to get cancer? If you get prostate cancer, is that, there's a hormone therapy for that." So there's a lot of fear that what is happening with our hormones can cause cancer. But hormones are really just messengers. But if you think about life, what would life be like without any communication? It wouldn't work at all.
Mm.
So that's what your hormones are doing. And it's a beautiful communication that's more like music, and that each one of them plays an important role like a symphony. And if the violins sound terrible at the symphony, the whole symphony sounds terrible. So
Yeah.
they all need to be balanced. And that's one thing that I think we're missing in traditional medicine. I'm an MD,
Mm.
a regular medical doctor, but I had to go back to school, do studying, and learn about functional medicine and become naturopathic medicine certified. So that's where this is the idea of optimizing and balancing. That's so important.
Mm. Yeah, I think maybe many women listening to this by reading out the symptoms that I was discussing earlier probably feel like they're listening to a heavy metal band and not really an orchestra or Bach or a Chopin or something like this. It seems like such a complex topic. However, hormones really drive many of the issues that women are suffering from. And I know through Food Matters, interviewing many experts on this topic over the years and having a mostly female team, because I respect in business the emotional intelligence of women extremely. And interacting with women in my life, it's common that, there's PMS struggles, there's, mood swings, sugar cravings, so much of this. I think maybe there's a disconnect between that being hormonal. I mean, PMS, of course, but some of the other conditions, unexplained weight gain, etc. What do you see are some of the primary symptoms that women experience when their hormones are out of balance? And maybe symptoms that they might not be aware are hormone related.
Well, I think the latter is the most important and the most common, is that even anxiety and depression is, in my books, something that should be pursued and investigated as a hormone imbalance and or deficiency
Mm.
before any antidepressant is talked about.
Mm.
Um, I'm not against medication. I'm an MD. I think that there's a place for it. But why first?
Mm.
Why do we choose cutting and drugging as the first option rather than looking at root cause and seeing if we can balance it? Other things that are, sometimes not thought of as a hormone related symptom is sleep.
Mm.
If you wake up between 2 and 4 in the morning with your eyes wide awake and you don't feel groggy, that's a progesterone deficiency until proven otherwise. When you have issues around your menses or PMS, those people are more commonly accepting to be hormone related, but your hair is a hormone related function. Your bone health. We used to, many years ago, treat osteopenia and osteoporosis with hormone balancing. So it has a great deal on how we look, feel, and function. Brain fog. And I think the biggest is energy and vitality. And what do I mean by vitality? Because it's such a vague word. We kind of know what it
Yeah.
means, but we really don't. So women, I find, when they're having hormone imbalances and deficiencies, things aren't fun
Mm.
anymore.
Mm.
The things that used to bother you really bother you. So perhaps your partner left their clothes on the floor and it used to bother you, but now you want to choke them. That's hormones.
Mhm.
So it takes that enjoyment out of life.
Mm. I'm laughing because I can relate in on being on the receiving end of that. Wow, and especially I just wrote down some notes here. I mean, hair and sleep and mood. I mean, these are heavy afflictions to carry through life. I mean, if you're not sleeping well, I mean, in studying health and nutrition, I mean, nutrition matters a lot, and we'll speak to that today. But sleep is the new nutrition, really, when it comes to organic food and raw foods and natural foods. Sleep is the new topic that needs addressing. And you're saying that this has hormones have an impact on the quality of sleep.
Yes, and it's particularly progesterone, but
Mm-hmm.
cortisol as well.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a fire in my house, I would grab my progesterone and my children. My husband can run for himself. It's so powerful. Um, and who has ever gone to the doctor or read a book or anything about insomnia, and then the first thing that they talk about is hormone balancing and progesterone? It doesn't happen,
Mm.
but it should.
Mm.
And it's bioidentical. It's so easy. Some progesterone is even over the counter.
Mm. Wow. I mean, I'm reflecting back to the conversation we had at this private dinner, and you were saying something similar. This progesterone sort of cream or something is so critical to helping restore that balance. And this is just one part of a bigger story of the hormonal story, but progesterone in particular. And I mean, sleep, when we think about sleep as well, women and men for that matter, as soon as you start to cross over the 35, 40-year-old sort of barrier, you notice that aging is more visible. And people want to look youthful and healthy and vibrant. And sleep is one of the biggest implicators in looking healthy and vibrant, because if you're not well rested and if you're stressed out, this has an impact not only on your immune system but also on your skin health, which is one of the largest organs in the body, right? So talk to me about hormones and skin as well, because many women experience breakouts and all sorts of issues, maybe around their cycle or potentially in relation to sweets and sugar cravings, which is a very common symptom as well.
Well, and one of the things I did for many years, almost 15 years, is own a holistic medical spa. So I did a lot of skin treatments, and we always talked about beauty from the inside out. And it's not just a slogan, it really matters. I mean, your estrogen has a lot to do with how saggy your skin is. Women can tell you that when they look at a picture from them between the ages of 35 and 45, there's some difference, but it's not shocking.
Mm.
45 to 55, there's some big differences. And then 55 to 65, it is just a completely different game if you haven't balanced and optimized your hormones. The other thing about hormones is that people forget that what you think and how you feel affect your hormones.